Good morning, good afternoon or good evening, wherever in the world you may be. This evening I thought I'd like to show you a few of the oldest things in my wardrobe, apart from myself of course. I am older than these items, but not by an awful lot. Now when I was 13, there was a boutique called Rosemary's, which was not far from where we lived, and my mother used to buy quite a lot of dresses from there. Her and my father used to go to a lot of dinner dances and functions, you know, etc., etc. And you know, you can only wear the dress once and that's it. So I went with my mother because she was going for a couple of fittings on two dresses that she had put aside for her. And Rosemary sold sort of slightly upmarket, ready to wear, you know, prêt-à-porter. And, you know, it included a free tailoring service. Now, my mum had her sitting guilds in tailoring, so she was a qualified tailor. She could cut, you know, make patterns, etc., etc. She passed most of those skills on to me because I'd always been really interested, you know, in making clothes. I actually had a small business at one time making leather bags and leather skirts and that sort of thing, but that was, you know, a bit further down the line. Anyway, at this time I was 13 years old, so it was 1967, which to me doesn't sound very long ago, but I'm sure to a lot of people you think, oh my goodness, 1967, ancient history. Anyway, Rosemary happened to say to my mum, you don't know anybody who's looking for a job, do you? Just a part-time seamstress. She said, because the lady who used to do, you know, the tailoring here has left. She said, and I know you're a tailor, but, you know, I know you're not looking for a job. And my mum said, well, I'm not, but I really said my real name then, sorry. And nobody but my mother has ever called me by my real name, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. So let's pretend my mother called me Kaz. So my mum said to Rosemary, well, Kaz is a very good sewer. I've taught her almost everything I know. And Rosemary sort of looked at me as if I was a bit of a scrap of a thing and said, really? And my mum said, absolutely, look, if you've got something that needs altering, she said, just, you know, let her show you. And I thought, oh, okay, so my mum's already decided that I want this job. Well, you know, when I was 13, if my mother said something, then, you know, I was not going to argue with her. So I thought, oh, fair enough, I'll, you know, do this, whatever. So Rosemary took me into the back room of the shop and said that there's this hem that I need doing for this lady and she's in rather a hurry for it. She said, now you do know how to blind hem, you know, by hand, don't you? I said, of course I do. I said, it's no problem. So she gave me the needle, thread, scissors, etc., etc., and I started, you know, hemming this garment, turning it over after every stitch to make sure that you couldn't see it on the other side. And I could hear Rosemary and my mum talking away in the shop, and I finished the hem and I took it out. And I said to Rosemary, do you want me to press the hem for you? And Rosemary said, oh, good grief, no. She said, have you finished that? I said, yes. So Rosemary took the dress off me and said, good grief, that is excellent work. She said, now I'd offer you a job, but because you're only, how old is it now, 12 or 13? I said, 13. I'm a teenager now. I'm very proud of the fact. She said, would you like to earn some extra money? And I thought, extra money sounds good. I said, well, as long as it doesn't clash with any of my ballet classes, because at that point, I'd already trained for, well, best part 8 years and a bit in classical ballet, and I was, you know, blinkers on. That was going to be my career choice. I was going to be a prima ballerina. Anyway, she said she'd let my mum know, you know, about how long she could employ me for, etc., etc., rate of pay. it eventuated that she could employ me for two hours a day after school and 4 hours on Saturday morning. That's the maximum number of hours that you were legally allowed to employ a child at that time. So, and she offered me 2 shillings and sixpence an hour. Now, at that time, I was getting 2 shillings and sixpence an hour pocket money from my mum and dad. So, quick bit of maths, and I thought, oh, that's 15 shillings a week. That is a lot of money, And my mum said, well, I'll speak to Kaz. Well, just pretend my mum used to call me Kaz. I'll talk to Kaz about it and see what she thinks. Anyway, I took the job and, did in my first week, my 2 hours after school on Friday, 4 hours on Saturday, and I was just packing up, ready to go home Saturday lunchtime, and Rosemary said, oh, don't go without your wages, and she gave me a little envelope with a 10 shilling note in and 2 half-crowns. Now, a half-crown was 2 shillings and sixpence, which is 12.5p in new money. And as she gave it to me, I looked down and I saw this little scarf. And she had this sort of counter with a glass top, and scarves and bits of jewellery, etc., were displayed there. And I said, how much is the scarf? And she said, well, do you want to buy it? Is it for you? And I said, absolutely, I love that scarf. She said, well, I'll let you have it for cost price, which is 7 shillings and sixpence. Now, 7 shillings and sixpence in new money in the UK is 37.5p. I know it sounds ridiculous, but this is quite a while ago. And I still have the aforementioned scarf. And it just has one very slight flaw in it there. Hasn't quite gone into a hole, and I don't think it will because it's quite good quality fabric. It's a mix of silk and a synthetic fabric that I just can't quite identify. Anyway, it has survived for that long. When I've shown you the other pieces, I'll put this on and show you how you used to wear a little scarf like this in the 1960s. So, fast forward, how many years? Well, to 1971, when I was working as a wardrobe assistant in the Belgrade Theatre. And on my lunch break, I went into C&A, which was quite a large store and sold men's, women's and children's clothing. And I saw this scarf. It's another scarf. Now, you might wonder why I've kept all of these scarves, and the answer is really simple. If you watch my last video, which if you didn't, I'll leave it up here or over there, you will know that I've moved 23 times. And when you move, a scarf is really easy to pack up and take with you. Clothes, shoes, bags, not so. So it's the scarves that have survived all those moves. And I'll show you this in more detail when I try the other scarf on. After I've shown you these bits and pieces. And it's a beautiful scarf, and there is nothing wrong with it at all. It is as good today as the day I bought it. And this cost me 10 shillings and sixpence, which was 52.5p in today's money. It's crazy, I know. It sounds ludicrous. Now, 1972, I did a season up at Leeds Playhouse as assistant wardrobe mistress, and my half-brother and his wife and children lived not far from Leeds, and they bought me a Christmas present, and it was, yeah, you guessed it, it was another scarf. Scarf/shawl, and this beautiful, beautiful print. And this, again, I have looked after so well. I have worn this, I have run out of the times I have worn this, and the other one also. First one, not so much. You'll see why when I try them on. You'd think after wearing it so many times there'd be something wrong with it. There is not a mark, a hole, and anything in it. And it's a beautiful scarf slash shawl, which I have kept because I have very little family left now, and I like the fact that it was bought for me by a family member. So now we're going to 1973, and this is when I moved down to London, and this also happened to coincide with Biba moving out of a small boutique on Kensington Church Street, which is a side street that goes off Kensington High Street, into the old Derry and Tom's building. And wow, that store was really something else. It was incredible. I wouldn't have missed the 60s and the 70s for the world. I really wouldn't. If somebody asked me if I would, you know, forget all of that and be born in the 80s and be, you know, 20, 30 years younger, no. No, thank you. I have such amazing experiences from those times. I would not trade them for anything. Anyway, on that same street as Biba, which was just... I can't even begin to explain what that store was like inside. Look them up online. There are loads of photographs of the interior of the shop. It was like walking into... It's like walking into somebody's very large house. You know, the beautiful lamps. You know, there are feather boas draped around things, and the models are beautifully dressed, and the whole shop had this incredible atmosphere. Anyway, I digress because this is not something from Biba. A few doors down from there was Kensington High Street Markets, and that was full of little stalls with people that sold, you know, various bits and pieces. And my boyfriend at the time bought me this brooch. There. Beautiful. And this is, let me think, 73, 74, okay, 51 years old. Perfectly intact. None of the crystals have fallen out. And it was a very on-trend thing then, you know, the star and the moon. There's a big sort of, you know, Age of Aquarius thing, you know, like Jesus Christ Superstar and all that, you know. Signs of the zodiac, etc., were very big in fashion then. And my boyfriend at the time, David, who I was actually got married to less than a month later, bought this for me. And I've kept it since then. It's a classic early 70s. Bit of hippie boho paraphernalia. Now the next piece, if you've seen my Chanel videos about my bag collection, you will have seen this before, but I think it's worth another mention because it is beautiful. It's my 1990s black tweed Chanel bag with the 24 karat gold plated bijou chain, which is just adorable. I love this to pieces. Now, from the serial code inside, it was made somewhere between 1994 and 1996. I bought it, I think, a few years later, from the first consignment store that I ever heard of, and it was in Switzerland, in Zurich. And it cost me the princely sum of about 600 Australian dollars, which was a lot of money then. You know, really a lot of money. I moved then from the UK to Australia in 1987, so. Anyway, inside this bag is beautiful. It's made in France, as you can see there. There's a slip pocket there. The lining is grosgrain. It's the tweed. The bijou chain is like jewellery. It is just absolutely stunning. And there is a little purse on this side with a kiss lock, which you can take off the bag and use on its own if you wanted to. This also is gold plated, and it is still in incredible condition. Really beautiful. You can hear that clasp. As crisp as the day it was made. I love this. Oh, and also in front of this slip pocket, another little pocket there. I adore this bag. It was my first Chanel bag, and I will never part with this one. There's just something very special about it, and I love the bijou chain. I really do. And on the older bags, the gold plating just makes them really absolutely exquisite. Just let me zoom you out of it. Here we go. And you'll be able to see it on. There you go. It's beautiful. You can wear it like that, or if you want to wear it crossbody, there's plenty of length. I don't wear bags crossbody. I find them really uncomfortable. But that bijou chain is immaculate. There is no damage to that at all, not a mark. And the tweed is held up beautifully as well. It's a gorgeous bag. I think if we're the sort of people that like beautiful things like this, that we owe it to those items to look after them so that they can maybe even have a second life, you know, with somebody else. I mean, I have, goodness me, how many grandchildren do I have now? I have seven grandchildren. 2 of them are girls, so they will be very fortunate young ladies. Now, I need to zoom you all the way out to show you how little scarves like this were worn in the 60s. I'll actually move the chair, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, that zoomed you out a little bit. So the scarf is not very long. I used to wear it like this. I'm sure you've seen lots of photographs of people in the 60s wearing similar scarves. I used to knot it like that and have it over to one side, like so. Oops, sorry, it's rubbing on the microphone. I don't wear this scarf very often. I mean, it's a rare occasion because I do want to keep it in good condition. Now, the next one that I bought from C&A when I was working at the Belgrade Theatre, you can see here is fairly large, quite a substantial shawl. Seeing its elephants all the way around the side in a border. I love elephants. This was very much in the sort of the hippie boho trend of the time. These scarves or shawls were very much, you know, the in thing. And you used to fold them in a triangle like that. This is probably going to make noises on the mic, sorry about that. And you used to put one side down like that. And have that side over the back. Hope you can see that well enough, I think so. Beautiful. I love the long black fringing on it. Such a nice scarf, and it's very lightweight. Such a great investment, really. I mean, if you look at the prices of things today, wow. Now, this was the one that my half-brother and his family bought me for Christmas in 1972. And this also is sort of big enough to fold into a triangle. I love the colours in this scarf. They're just so beautiful. I'll bring it closer to the camera so you can see them when I put it on. I love large scarves like this. Well, you probably realise that from my Alexander McQueen collection. Oh, and if you haven't watched those videos, they'll be up here and over there. And talking of watching my videos, if you've been watching my videos and you enjoy watching them, and you'd like to support my channel, please subscribe. I would so appreciate it. I'm trying to get monetised by my 70th birthday, which is in the middle of October. And I need 1,000 subscribers, which the subscribers are going quite well, but please do subscribe. You can never have too many subscribers, seriously. You can never have too many handbags or too many subscribers. That's what I think. What I desperately need are watch hours, and to help with that, I'm having my first live this Sunday at midnight, Sydney time, so it's debatable whether it's Sunday the 7th or Monday the 8th, but we'll say it's Sunday at midnight. 10 AM New York time, and I think 2 PM Greenwich Mean Time. And you'll need to be subscribed to join in the live chat, and it's question and answers thing. You can ask me questions, I'll answer you, you can get to know me a bit more, and we can just have a bit of a chat. So I would love to see you there. Anyway, back to the shawl. As you can see, the colours are beautiful. They really are stunning. This hasn't faded one little bit, not that I believe anywhere where it would fade, but beautiful. Love the colours, I really do. It's gorgeous. The bag, just because any excuse to put this bag on my shoulder and I take it. It's just stunning. Absolutely stunning. I'll never part with this bag. It is just so nice. It's so comfortable to wear. The bijou chain just sits on your shoulders so well. And the tweed is a fabulous quality. It really is. And a little tweed pull on the zip there. The zip pull is also gold plated. Chanel knew how to make bags then. Now what is there left? Oh yes, my brooch that Dave bought for me. Beautiful brooch. Very hippie style brooch. There you go. Oops. It is very, very sparkly. I don't know if you can see it twinkling away there, but I can certainly see it twinkling in the mirror there. Oops. It's got one of those safety catches on. The other thing that I didn't show you before, which was in my styling my new denim Chanel bag video, was this beaded jacket. It literally weighs quite a few pounds. I mean, look at the beading on that. I know I've shown you this before, but it's easy to see the shape. See the shape at the front here. Now, I know it looks very creased inside, and the reason it's creased, this is silk by the way, quite a thick silk, is because when I bought it from that little antique shop in Oxford, it had a bit of a, you know, been sitting around in a dusty old antique shop for a few years sort of smell. And so I actually washed this. I put it inside a cotton pillowcase and laid it flat. And I washed it very, very gently. I mean, I literally just swirled it around in the water. I dried it flat, hence the creases here. Absolutely beautiful. I treasure that. I really do. So I hope you like those few pieces that I just showed you. I mean, as well as showing you a few pieces that have remained in my wardrobe for a long time, I also wanted to convey a bit of a message about looking after your things. You know, when you have nice things, look after them. You know, we live in a world now where it's important, isn't it? You know, it's important to hang on to what we've got. You know, reduce, reuse, recycle. It really is important. As I said, I've got 7 grandchildren, and I'd love them to grow up in the world that I grew up in. You know, where there are green fields, blue skies, fresh air. Anyway, I just wanted to show you those few bits and pieces there. They're special things in my wardrobe, especially things like this brooch that Dave bought me, because sadly he's no longer with us, and it's nice to have those pieces to remember people by. As you get older, you'll know what I mean by that. So on that note, I think I will say thank you for watching. As always, I really appreciate your time. I do. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. That will be extremely nice of you. And if you give it a thumbs up, if you like the video, that would be great. And if you want to leave me a comment down under, I will reply to you. And as always, à bientôt mes amis, au revoir et bonsoir.